everybody? This is your boy James IV. I'm out in Washington Square Park, Lower East Side, Manhattan. We got a very special guest right here, Miss Kayla Love.
Hey, what's good, everybody?
Where are you from?
I'm from the Bay Area, California.
California. So what are you doing out here in New York?
Oh man, so I just came out here to do some new projects. I got my very first show out here in New York City. That was on Tuesday at Back Blair Bar, and now I'm shooting my first music video, kind of as like my grown and sexy self, you know. Kind of stepping away from the amateur and getting into the more professional side of things.
So how long have you been into music?
I've been rapping for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, since I was 15 years old.
So where has like music, rap, and hip hop, where's it taken you?
But it's I really understand the phrase when people say, you know, hip hop saved my life. Because I really feel like it's responsible for a lot of everything that I've done. Like, neither one of my parents graduated from high school, so I became the first in my family to go and graduate from college when I walked the stage from UC Berkeley in 2014. And that hip-hop was really a big part of my college experience. I was the president of the hip-hop club there. I also got to teach a class called Tupac, the evolution of hip-hop and how to rap. I got to do some really dope shows, like opening up for Talib Kweli, hosting stuff, doing hip-hop in the park. So it's really been an intricate part of my life and everything that I do.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, right? Like,
hell yeah.
Like hip-hop, man. So you opened up for like a lot of people. That's crazy. So like, what is it like being on stage like that? Like, how do you get into your zone?
Every time before I'm about to step on stage, I always feel hella nervous. I always think I gotta pee a million times. And then as soon as I get up there in front of all the people, I feel like I'm in my most natural state. And all of that goes away, and then it's on.
Oh man. So you said you had a show on Tuesday. Now, do you have anything else coming up?
Yeah, so actually back in the Bay Area, I'm part of a band now called Sonny Ruckus, S-O-N-N-Y, Ruckus, and we've been doing shows at all the kind of major venues in the Bay Area, the real esteemed ones, and we just had our first television debut. That was pretty dope on our local Bay Area channel, and we're gonna have another show pretty much August 19th. I'm hitting the ground running as soon as I get back to the Bay.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Hey.
But, wow. So, I know we just had the cypher and stuff. I can't wait for that footage.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh man. So, what would you consider your style to be, like, as a hip hop artist? I know you're your own style, but how would you classify yourself?
Like in terms of sound or content?
Yeah, sound and content.
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I don't have any albums out. I have probably like over 140, 50 songs, something like that. I got about 35 on SoundCloud, and it's really just, I hear a beat, if I vibe to it, I rap to it. So I've gone to some more hardcore gothic rock stuff, some fusion stuff, to some more smooth R&B type stuff, to you know, some club type beats. So I really don't have one particular style because I'm always feeling some type of way. Multi-dimensional individual, so it's just really dependent on my mood and dependent on the beat that I find. I haven't yet to work with a single producer where I have kind of a consistent style because that's just what they're producing. Hopefully in the future I'll find that one, but for now it's kind of just feeling out what I could get.
So you did mention that you were president of the hip hop club.
Hey.
Like that's dope. But all right, so like what would that class be about? Like what about hip hop? Like how is your hip hop club? What do you guys go over? What do you guys talk about?
Oh, for sure. So the hip hop club, it had reached its 20th year anniversary. So I think it is one of the older clubs at any university around. And so when I took on the membership, kind of the biggest thing that we do is throw hip hop in the park, which is the longest running hip hop show in Northern California. It's completely free. It's all ages. It's open to the community, and it takes place outside in historic People's Park, right there in UC Berkeley. And so basically, there's a lot of political stuff that happens in trying to show that event. Like, for example, if I need to get insurance, right, to cover my event, make sure everything is legitimate, and I have and I said that the genre of music for this event is rock, oh, $200, like it's all good, I get my whole event insured. But as soon as I say that it's a hip hop event, go ahead and add on another zero. It'll be like $2,000. because hip hop still has such a negative stigma. So a lot of what my position as president was actually building political alliances and connections with the local government in order to have the right people so that I could get my permits going through, my insurance, security, and things like that. So I guess this is where my political science degree low-key came in clutch. That's probably where I put most of my practice in with it. But also just curating workshops, really trying to get people, the students, exposed to hip hop in all of its elements. So having rapping workshops, having free writes, always ending every club meeting with a cipher, talking about history, talking about women in hip hop, kind of like the gender aspect. So really just creating a safe space for conversation and practice.
What? Oh, we gotta bring some of that out here.
Hey.
That's serious. So, who were some of the people that inspired you to really get into hip hop? Like, who are your inspirations?
Man, like Tupac is a huge inspiration because when I came into Cal as a freshman, very first semester, I took a class called The Life and Legacy of Tupac Amaru Shakur, right? And so this is a legacy course that started back in 1997. It's hella funny if you want to go on YouTube and look it up and find the original footage as covered by Bill O'Reilly's racist ass on MSNBC. And so as a freshman, I took the Tupac class and it seemed a little bit boring for my liking, and I really felt that was impossible because we're talking about Tupac. Like, I'm taking a class on Tupac at college and actually getting academic units for it. Like, that's amazing because of this specific program that Berkeley has called DCAL, Democratic Education at Cal. And so for many years I plotted because I was like, I want to carry on this course. This is very important for me, but I also recognize that as a non-black person teaching a class in African American studies, I had to be extremely careful about the way I would go about teaching this class to make sure that I was coming from a perspective that I understood. I was teaching a narrative and a story that was not necessarily my own. And so I switched up the class and expanded it to Beyond Tupac to become Tupac, the evolution of hip hop and how to rap. Because it's like KRS-One said, like, you're not just gonna eat a piece of pizza and then know everything about Italian culture. Like, you really have to be immersed in it. And so I wanted students to be able to appreciate lyricism, to appreciate rhyme schemes, to appreciate all of the intricacies that go into curating a rap. And so instead of having a final paper, they would have a final rap song, and we would have a big cipher and do it potluck style, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like to really appreciate Tupac and his contributions to the music industry and what would come after him, the groundwork that he laid, I felt like we really had to look at hip hop from the beginning to where we are today. And so that's why I expanded it to really talk about kind of the different eras and how it's evolved over time.
You know, that's really interesting because, like, as a 90s kid, I'm a 90s kid, I see hip hop has changed. Like, I don't want to say I don't want to say any specific time, but if I were to, I would say, like, there's people before Tupac and after Tupac.
Right.
You know, like, the early 90s kids are one way, and then you see, like, the late 90s kids, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that era.
Like, it's like a whole different era. But how I see it is, like, you know, like, the lyricism, like, delivery, the actual culture of it started to change. And then you could see, like, you could look at his interviews, like, it was really interesting that there's a whole class on it. I didn't even know. But, like, through his interviews, you could tell, like, there's more genuineness with hip-hop and artists in the early 90s. And it carried a little bit to the 2000s. It's still alive today, but, like I find that really interesting. Now that I'm even thinking about it, it's like, wow, I didn't even know it got that deep. So, all right, so with that, now, are there any female hip-hop artists that you would say, like, you know, would inspire you as being a female artist yourself?
And my favorite female rapper is Lisa Left Eye, rest in peace. And in many ways, I kind of see her as like a female Tupac. Like, it's crazy that we're both Geminis. She talks about how he came to her house and like they had like the same spices down to the same furniture, and that every time they stepped in a room, it felt like there was 4 people in the room. I think that also she was somebody that really was very vocal against the industry, that always kept it real about what she was going through in this industry. And then just even down to the flow, like just so many things. So I really, really appreciated just her rawness and her realness and her ability to be multifaceted and to show. That's also what I appreciate about Tupac, is that he was multi-dimensional. It's not like, oh, it's a gangster rapper or it's a conscious rapper. It's like that kind of barrier didn't exist. It was just like, this is what you get. And I felt like Lisa Left Eye really encompassed that a lot for me as well.
That's good. And you were talking about how like she would really talk about the real industry and things that are going on. You've been in for 10 years. Like, I'm sure you know something about like, you know, how things work. Like, how was your experience being in this industry for your time?
I mean, I wouldn't really say that I'm in the industry because I'm not like looking to get signed. I'm really just looking to curate something that I really am proud of, to express myself as articulate as possible on a track, and yeah, just to have something like, damn, when I'm playing this back to me, like, I don't even give a fuck if anybody feel this. Like, I feel my shit and I will bump my shit back to back, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of just like trying to collaborate with people in the Bay or something, you know, it's always some corny ass dude talking about, oh, you rap, like, oh, I got a studio, like, come through and stuff. And it's like, don't run that bullshit game by me because I know you just trying to fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, just be real about it and not try to act like we trying to do some business here, because I really, you know, I'm about my business, so I can see past that game. So it's kind of like those little things that that I see in terms of being a female artist in a male dominated space.
Yeah, that's how you actually just touched on the perfect thing. Like, I could see how as a female artist you would get a lot of guys that would be like, you know, I got a studio and stuff. So like, I'm sure that's nothing new to you, huh?
Hell no, I see right past that shit. Like, let's move on. Right? Bye, boy.
So how do people get in contact with you? How could they follow you on the social media outlets? So you got a SoundCloud, what else you got?
It's funny because the other night at my show, I got off the stage because I finished my set in a very particular way, right? And then they were like, hold up, you didn't give us your social media. So they try to have me come back on stage, and I just got back on stage like, I don't give a fuck if any of y'all follow me. I'm not even about this social media life. Like, I don't put my handles out there like it's Kayla Love Music, Kayla with the I, K-A-I-L-A. But I don't know, like, I'm a real face-to-face individual. Like, I'm better at representing myself in person than over a computer screen. And that's just how I've always been. That's why I appreciate live performance, the ability to really connect with an individual, with the audience, and really try to create an experience for the people that are present, you know? So social media is cool. You can find me on SoundCloud. Kayla Love Music is my handle on everything. But it's just, I don't really give a fuck about the number of followers or retweets. Like, I'm not really good at keeping up with my shit. It's like, if I feel like posting something, I'm gonna post it. I'm not gonna put it on blast. Like, if you wanna hear my shit, you can hear my shit. But I just feel like I don't need to push it out there like that to anybody, because at the end of the day, it's still for me.
That's real. That's not the realest response that I've heard. I don't know. So, all right, so now, how long are you out in New York for? And do you plan on being on the East Coast more?
I definitely plan on being on the East Coast more. I got a few more trips lined up here, I think, for this upcoming, you know, couple of months. And I'm only here until Monday for this particular trip. It's been a pretty productive one. Every day has just been crazy. But, you know, it's nice to check out a different scene other than the Bay.
Yeah, like, what's the differences? Like, I've never been to the West Coast, so you got to really, like, school me in. Like, what's the difference between your perception of the East Coast, West Coast?
Oh man, I just like when I did my set, for example, at this show on Tuesday, my set combined different elements of spoken word, dancing, rapping, and singing. And so I'll do a lot of performances that have multiple elements, because like I said, I'm trying to create an overall experience for the audience. And so my set was very distinct in that way, because everybody else, it was just straight up like drop the beat, spit some shit, spit another like verse, spit another song, and then keep it moving. So I think that if you go to an open mic or something in the West Coast, you definitely see, you know, like the stand-up comedians and the poets. Like, slam poetry is really big. There's a dope scene out there for that. Or like when I went over to New Orleans, you don't really see a lot of oral artists. Like, you know, you see motherfuckers showing up to open mics with their trumpets and be like, hey, any horn players in the house? So it's interesting now that I'm traveling more, which has been my goal for 2016, to see kind of differences in terms of how music is produced and what shows are looking like. So.
Okay.
I mean, we in the East Coast, like, this is the birthplace of hip hop, so naturally there's just something more gritty about it and raw and real, and I fucking love that.
Hip hop, we're
like
in New York. That's where it started, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Man. So where do you see hip hop going in the future? And if you could have any influence, like, how would you try to influence it? Because you were saying it has a negative connotation, you know. I know, like, so where do you see it going in the future, like, as progressing?
As a culture, I would really, really love to see, and this is one of my lifetime goals, is to see hip hop legitimized in academia. So that means that one day you can take a class as a high schooler, an elective course in hip hop, or maybe you could even take an English course that's around themes of hip hop. Or when you go to college, maybe you could actually have a major in hip hop, right? Because there's actually a rich body of research and just a body of work around hip hop scholarship. But the thing that sucks is you really have to reach a certain level of education in order to access it. And I don't think that's right, because I think at the core of hip hop culture is kind of almost the most purest sense of democracy that America will ever see. Because hip hop crosses all cultures, all geographical borders, language, race, intersectionality, just on multiple levels, like universal level. Anybody can participate as long as you have the heart to do it and you're willing to and you want to, right? And so I would really love to see hip hop be legitimized in academia, and doing my Tupac course was a big kind of part of that, planting the seed for me. Hopefully I'll get my master's and join some of the most esteemed hip hop scholars in this country, and just can keep contributing to that body of work.
That's huge. What a vision. What a vision. So now I just want to just say one last question before we wrap this up. Now, you know, as an artist, I say this to a lot of different artists. Were there, like, what was like a time period in your career where you felt like you were at like a down point, where you had to really, like, you know, analyze yourself and be like, all right, you know, I could do this? Have you ever felt like that? Like you couldn't, like a down point where like you just felt that things weren't working and you just had to like really pull out something out of you that really brought you a lot forward?
Man, maybe my first battle.
You battled too?
Yeah, because I had a really good friend named Max. Really dope, young prodigy, you feel me? Rapper, producer, b-boy, visual artist, everything across the board. And he invited me to some of my first battles that I ever attended. And so I would really follow him around the Bay and go to all his battles and stuff and really watch him and study him. I always had a really good time. And unfortunately, in August of 2014, he was shot and murdered just a few weeks after his 21st birthday. And that shit, of course, really was like the worst day of my entire life. Like, it was just the most painful moment, the day that I seen in this message that he had been killed. And I remember it just like, from that moment on, it really propelled me, because I felt like for the rest of my life, I have a responsibility to represent and to propel forward for what he cannot do, for the things that he cannot say, for the shows that he can't be at, for the battles that he can't perform in. And so I just used that to be in my very first battle. And I lost to my opponent by 1 vote in the final round. He was a former champion. I came back like the next time, I beat his ass. I took the championship. I got my $200. I paid my rent. And I've been just really trying to use that momentum. I mean, sometimes it still gets me down, but like now I'm trying to break into breakdancing, and just like in his honor. So I just feel like I have a newfound responsibility in this shit.
That's deep. That's deep. So there you guys have it. It's the greatest interview, I feel, because we got a lot of vision, a lot of real hip hop in this one. So stay tuned. This is James IVTV here with Kayla Love.
should step back. Maybe I should leave you alone, seeing how you react. Right now you got me open, deep in my emotions, just don't want my heart broken. I'm too scared to get so hurt again.
So many things that I wanna do with you, cause you got what I like and you talk real smooth. It's alright, I know your type, you got that real nice charm. Every morning I've been yearning to be back in your arms. See the words, I'm disarmed. I can't help but wonder if my heart is in harm. And I'm in such a slumber that I can't hear alarms. If you and I can last, I don't want the pain from my past to predict the forecast of the future that's ahead. But also can't pretend that everything is perfect. Could you really ride for me? I know that I am worth it. I'm down to make you happy, I'll be right there at your service. You gotta keep it real, let me know the deal. Don't be having me wait up, you know how to feel. You had me vulnerable last night, it got me low-key scared. I'm not trying to sit here and wonder if you
Maybe
care.
I should go, maybe I should step back. Maybe I should leave you alone, seeing how you react. Right now you got me open, deep in my emotions, just don't want my heart broken.
I'm too scared to get so hurt.
Maybe I should go, maybe I should step back. Maybe I should leave you alone, seeing how you react. Right now you got me open, deep in my emotions, just don't want my heart broken.
I'm too scared to get so hurt again.
It's a feeling that sits in the pit of my stomach.
I'm too proud to say that I ache for your loving. Say them words, I'm disarmed. Can't help but wonder if my heart is in harm. And I'm in such a slumber that I can't hear alarms. If you and I could last, I don't want the pain from my past to predict the forecast.